And it is recording. Hey, everybody, I'm here with our dear friend, Sterling. How you
Good
doing, my
morning.
friend?
I'm doing great, doing excellent.
The wind is blowing like crazy up here for the past 2 days. What's it like down there?
Not too bad. It's very moderate weather right now
Oh,
in Southern
cool.
California,
Oh,
very moderate, so it's good.
all right. Okay, so we have questions. Thank you, you guys. We have questions and we will begin. Okay, first question. Will the policeman that murdered George Floyd be convicted?
Yeah, interesting. What I pick up is that they're on a path to conviction, but what I mean by that is that looks like there's 3 of them that in particular that will definitely go through extensive trial and probably end up with convictions. But I do see what the 4th officer looks like he might turn what I call state's witness, and so
Oh,
may help with the prosecution. So I do see one of the 4 possibly getting a reduced sentence or some sort of a bargain as a state's witness. So yeah.
okay. Thank you. Do you think Nancy Pelosi and her caucus have something in their toolbox to use against Trump to hinder him from causing more harm?
I think that they had at one time a lot of financial records that they haven't been able to get through the courts to get it to see the light of day. So I think that what their hope is, and I think their support is behind this FBI report that's being worked on. Was it Burr? Is it the Burr report?
Yes.
So I
And
think
Mark,
that
Mark, what's his name? He's he's of Democrats thinking about reading it out loud.
yeah, no, I think
Mark Warner.
well, no. So this is the Burr report that's going now getting. So I think they're putting their support behind that report. So I think
Okay.
that's kind of what Nancy Pelosi will be focused on.
But real quick, in between this question,
Mhm.
do you think Burr is working because he got set up, basically? Not that what he did wasn't wrong,
Mhm.
but he's the only one being punished. Do you think he's working behind the scenes against Trump, kind of giving out information to help expedite this?
Yeah, I think he's trying to get the truth out. Let's put it that way. I think
Okay,
he's.
because that's why he's gone. Because he was.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, will Lindsey Graham's Judicial Committee amount to anything with their Mueller investigation process?
I think it's going to create a lot of background noise. So I think it's going to be a lot of kind of media spins and things like that. But I don't think it's going to amount to anything. And
Okay.
I think they're all going to run out of runway as we get towards the end of the year here. So
Okay, that's good
for
news.
me, I'll
Now,
call
you
it.
know, he had 53, what do you call it? They're not petitions. Where they
Oh,
tell him
subpoenas. The
subpoenas.
subpoenas
He
you're talking
did.
about? Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, no, they put it aside. I'm wondering if he just couldn't get the backup on that.
Yeah, and that's all trying to call up all the individuals from the Obama administration to kind of figure out what happened, like how the genesis of the Russia investigation. That's what it's all about. So it's going to create a lot of background noise, is what I feel. Yeah.
And he's doing it for Trump. He's auditioning
Well,
for Trump.
like many others. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, what happened to the children in Southern California? The one, or not Southern California, the ones that they were putting in, they had the cages, it was a big deal.
Sure. For me, I think those children right now have ended up all around the nation. So I think they're in a lot of different locations. Some might be in what I'll call kind of foster homes. Some are probably in orphanages, but I think they got spread out across the nation, for lack of a better way to kind of handle the whole thing. And
Okay,
I do feel like it's going to take, could be a couple of years by the time all that gets what I call descrambled. So
right.
that is that, they get reunited with their parents and their relatives.
Oh,
So they're all over the nation. Yeah. So it's a mess.
I saw it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
Are there any major worldwide earth events taking place? Quakes, tsunamis, hurricanes?
The only one that I pick up in terms of worldwide earth events that may be kind of significant. I hope it's wrong, but it feels like there's a significant earthquake in Spain next year, like towards the middle of next year in Spain.
Yeah.
So, and at first I asked, is it more Europe in general? But it looks like it's kind of focused around Spain. So I guess I'd be a little careful, make sure everybody repairs in that area. And then
Okay.
there's also, looks like a few more earthquakes around the west coast of the United States, so off in the ocean. So that then creates a little bit more flooding even on kind of the west coast of our nation. So probably more like the Northwest. So I don't
Okay.
want to call them tsunamis necessarily, but big, plate shifts in the ocean that cause a lot of water activity.
Right. Okay. So, but you don't see California dropping in the ocean tomorrow.
No, I don't think Arizona or Vegas is going to have oceanfront property yet.
Not quite yet. Will Trump get a second impeachment due to the tear gassing event at Lafayette Park?
I don't see it. Yeah, I
Me
don't see
neither.
it
I don't
happening.
see a second. I see he's already destroying himself, and basically it's too close to the election. He'll get voted out.
Yeah.
Okay, in regards to Melania, will she be with DT after 2020?
For me, it feels like there's like what I'll call a contract fulfilled by the time that we get into next year. And so I really do feel like there's a separation there going on. It's almost like there was a contract in place. You have to stay, play the role kind of a thing. Then once the election's done, free to go kind of a thing. So.
Okay. Will the nation feel better as a whole by March 2021? How soon will Americans be able to exhale and breathe?
I think I'll probably start right after the election with, the new president kind of a thing. But certainly as we get into the first quarter of next year, I think it's going to start to be self-evident kind of the plans. The plans will get laid down as to how things are going to get handled. And so maybe it restores hope.
Right.
Hope.
Okay, will Burr report show the GOP's Russia involvement besides Trump? Will the Burr report show the GOP's Russia involvement besides Trump?
Yeah, it will. So I think the question there has to do with the Russian involvement. So it's not just it's all the outside involvement that the Burr report has in it. So I do feel a very strong connection to a lot of Russian activity, both in the election and also in kind of manipulation of government. Yeah.
Right. Well, he's been from the time I first started doing YouTube, and I told everybody, this man has been in Russia's pockets since he was in New York. He's been, what do you call, laundering money forever. And so he is Putin's puppet. He truly is. He follows what Putin wanted to start a race for. And he did what he could, but he didn't realize the amount of people that were going to say no.
That's very true.
All over the world. So Putin's looking like chopped liver right now.
By the way, quick footnote, I think a lot of the Russian, interference was really brought on because Trump needed financing, right? He couldn't get conventional financing over many years for casinos, hotels, and it was really, he had to go to Russia for that kind of financing. So.
Right, because they're the ones, even Deutsche Bank had to have somebody co-sign, and it was an oligarch.
Right.
Okay, what is this FBI report? Any truth to this Uncle Blazer and Bill Burr report on Trump and Russian involvement in the 2016 election? Yeah.
I think that's the same question.
It seems like it's the same question. Absolutely. Like I said, it's been told, it's been known, the insiders that I've read, people who actually know for real, have been saying, there's this one guy I read, and he's known of Trump or around Trump for 30 years, and he was in New York. He said, I'm going to tell you something right now. That man's been in Russia's pocket forever. And anybody that's anybody in New York knows it.
That's very true. Very true.
Who are the unidentified police Barr is using against protesters and journalists? Where are they actually coming from?
For me, those are coming from satellite agencies. So like there's agencies that have police forces like Bureau of Prisons, kind of thing. I think even the post office may have police, but they're like satellite agencies that have police forces that I believe it looks like they were brought in to kind of augment the forces already there, show a bigger sign of strength. So.
Yeah. As this mess continues on, How does it impact the election in November? Can Trump's loss grow even bigger than what you have seen?
Yeah, and it's probably worth mentioning that for me, it feels like because of this big sea change and the big tipping point, everything going on with the economy and the riots that we're seeing, that it all ends up resulting in a big, called a landslide election. So it's like a 15-point lead. I do see like 15-point lead with the winning candidate. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I could kind of visualize the news.
Mhm.
And I feel like early on, it's not into the wee hours. It's not close.
Right,
It's
right.
like CNN projects that Joe Biden is now the president of the United States.
No, exactly. And I think it's really starting to get down to the point, a very simple question is like, which candidate do you believe will stand more behind social justice and kind of racial equality? It's like that simple, which candidate? So
And he
all
blew
things,
it. I know what the South,
yeah,
his people think he's religious. He's not, but he blew it with that virus too. He blew it.
sure.
Okay, what are our star friends doing to help us cope with our chaos and uncertainty?
And these are like the aliens we're talking about, kind of
Yeah,
all, yeah. I still feel they're standing guard over like nuclear arsenals, that kind of a
that's
thing.
what I feel.
So,
They're not
yeah,
going to let us blow ourselves up. But they
exactly.
also don't quite. The consciousness I get from them is they don't interfere with free will. So
No. Yeah.
this ability of us to get higher and higher in our spiritual form, we're changing, we're shifting,
We are.
is all part of the game plan. So
It
even
is.
though this looks so bad, they're almost like what my guides always say to me, Shh, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
So
No.
like we get so caught up in fussing because he's made everybody so angry. And it's almost like we have to step back and it's like, watch this, watch this.
Exactly. And by the way, I felt that our, our space friends, so to speak, a couple of things they have interest in. First off, they want the planet to survive because a lot of
They
good
do.
going on here, and they benefit from good going on here too. The second thing is, if there was ever a nuclear catastrophe like a world war, it actually would affect the solar system. So there's bad things also happen outside of the solar system. So kind of a number of things they're concerned about.
Right. And I've often felt, and tell me if I'm correct, often felt because of their abilities and the way they go into this system, it's almost like sometimes they want to be seen just to let you know something outside of you is here. But I've often felt that they're overseen and they've been here forever, but they would have never taken over the earth except to stop nukes.
Yeah, no, that's primarily what's going on in history. Yeah, and lots of evidence of it.
Right. Okay. In fact, they've been around. They even drew them on in caves, and their presence became more known after nukes began.
Very true.
Okay. Do you see peace in the Middle East? If so, when?
This is a very interesting time for the whole world, including the Middle East, and I do pick up that unbelievably in a good way that by like next year sometime 2021 there's actually a nice structure for a peace agreement between the Israelis and Palestinians, but I think that's more because they realize that what happened in the U.S. during the last number of years has been very scary to the world, and so there's almost like they see a window of opportunity. It's like, okay, if there's any window of opportunity, this might be it to try to get something structured. So I
Right.
feel like that accelerates the process a bit. Yeah.
Do you feel that the other nations, including Germany, will definitely forgive the United States for jumping out of who and all that? When Biden gets in, he'll try to restructure it. Do you see us being able to come together?
I do. And so I think that it takes time to build up trust. So I think they understand why things were done. So that's going to help a lot.
Okay.
So, it's kind of the vision of a single individual and his organization that prompted those exits from the World Health Organization, that kind of thing. But it'll
Right.
take a little bit of time to build trust back up, but it'll be there. Yeah.
Right. And again, I always see Putin running, like the people are turning on him and he's running.
Yeah,
So I don't see he can do much more damage. They're saying Russia now is going into or at the border of Venezuela.
I believe it. Yeah.
So they're trying to interfere with too much. They'll get kicked out. Are the George Floyd protests going to start leading towards anti-Trump protests? I think it's two of the same.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all happening real time. So.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, they're oh my God, that's so funny about what happened. He's got that big fence around the White House.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, some very good people around the world, including, believe it or not, The Rock, you know, the movie star.
Oh, Dwayne, The Rock.
Yeah, even he did a video that just really just kind of said simply, where's the leadership? You know, just, you know, forget any kind of politics. Where's the leadership just to try to help pilot through this? So
because he's turning people off. Trump is turning people off with that. Oh, we're gonna get our military, because you know he's gung-ho military, yet he lied about bone spurs to get out of the draft. He's a wannabe general.
Right, right.
And then he talks so highly about Mattis. Who was the one? Yeah, General. Oh, you know, what do they call him? Crazy or screaming something Mattis. Something dog Mattis. And then now Mattis said, this guy's whack job.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, I fired him. I fired him, and he's just upset.
And I think Colin Powell came out today or last night, also, you know, voicing his opinion too. So. You know.
Oh, and you know, Trump tweeted. I saw the tweet. Right. I want to be a has-been. Nobody even cares about his opinion. He is so sensitive right now. He's just waiting. Say something. Say something. And he's bouncing off the walls. Let me ask you this. It's not in our list. But do you think people are actually around him are trying to pump him up, or are they giving him any kind of reality check?
You know, from what I pick up, I think there's a real, you know, like more than half of the internal party around him is actually trying to distance themselves. Like they're trying to figure out what's the right strategy going forward now to try to exit, you know, as Snagglepuss used to say in cartoons, exit stage left, right?
Exit stage left. Yeah, I used to say that all the time.
Like I see that commentary, exit stage left. How do we get out?
But why is the Republicans so quiet, except for Lindsey Graham?
I think there's been a lot of money exchange. And I think that a number of candidates and congressmen have actually, to benefit their campaigns, have taken money, you know, and so now it's kind of hanging over all their heads. I think that's part of the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, you know, if you don't support the main person, then, you know, we'll talk about all the ways that you weren't ethical and how you funded campaigns, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, like all those Republicans that went to Russia.
Right.
And, you know, he handed them cash out there. And of course, you know, you give somebody enough money, they'll do what they have to do. They'll prostitute themselves.
Yeah.
And they also get stuff on these people. Okay, will this pandemic get worse?
You know, for me, like when we first looked at this, I kind of saw the same kinds of cycles. So even though a lot of protesting is going on, we're still going to see the increase kind of around, you know, August, September kind of a thing.
That's what I
think that was always in the cards, but I still think that they're going to be able to mitigate it because they'll be able to figure out where the outbreaks are and then try to quarantine people pretty quickly. So yeah, it's kind of still same. Yeah,
not as bad though as it was.
It won't be as bad as the first one, but it won't necessarily be, I'll say, exacerbated by all the protests going on, right? All the people in close proximity.
Yeah, you know, people were talking about, they're worried about the protesting. It's interesting. A lot of them wear masks.
Right.
I don't know why that mask would save everybody, but I feel like because of the masks that they're, and almost as an angelic force in there, kind of keeping everybody safe.
Yeah, I think the medical professionals did say that, interestingly enough, if for example, everybody had worn masks at the very beginning,
right,
entire thing would have been squelched down. So it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
so much-
New York, if we
Yeah.
knew now what we,
Right.
you know, if we knew, let's say everybody, they say, in fact, masks will be the thing of the future now. Even
Absolutely.
in China, did you notice, even when there's no pandemic, people wear masks?
Right.
So
And it's
I
actually
think,
opening up a whole designer industry. So like designer clothing, designer dresses. Now there'll be a whole line of designer masks. You know,
oh, I can't wait.
yeah, no, there are. So-
Nancy Pelosi always has a mask that matches her outfit.
exactly. Exactly.
So, okay, and any final messages from your guides? Is there anything they want to tell us?
Sure, sure. You know, they were telling me this over the last number of hours, and I still feel it. It's like what they're saying is, for all of us, try not to go to the lowest common denominator of kind of hate and fear, but try to raise the level of consciousness not in ourselves, but everybody we meet, so that every interaction is really putting forth positive energy. It's, you know, don't dwell on the hate and the anger, but dwell on kind of the benefits of a future. A good future, a valuable future, and one that kind of works for everybody, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, that's a beautiful statement. It's kind of like what they always say to me.
yeah,
You know, the only reason I'm doing these videos is because my guide said you will help calm people down. And so messages like from you and me, we're just trying to tell people this madness will stop. This madness will stop. And it's hard for me sometimes because people write, oh my God, this happened. He's going to be voted in. And all I can keep saying is the message. It's just, don't worry. He's going. And if you look at it, he's sort of, I think it's like Pelosi said, give him enough rope. He'll hang himself.
yeah. The universe is working in a very miraculous way right
Isn't
now.
it? Even with the Biden thing. Remember, Biden wasn't looking so great. And everybody's like, who's it going to be? And then all of a sudden, it just got, it was like it was a miracle. 70% of votes for Biden. That was like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
He's going to get in. I do not see him not getting in. I see him getting in, and we actually have an administration.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're just trying to help people, as you said. We're here just trying to help people and kind of calm fears.
We'll need to do a reading the day after he gets voted out.
We will. We'll celebrate. Yeah.
We'll celebrate. I'll be like, yay! I'll probably come down to see you too.
There you go.
All right, my friend.
All righty. Thanks.
It was a beautiful thing. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.